I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, March the 6th, brought to you in part by Specialty Risk Insurance. They can cover all your insurance need for small or large ag businesses, including sale barns. Owners, do you feel like that suddenly your insurance provider is making too much money off of you? Well, try a little competition. Give them a call. Specialty Risk Insurance, have them give you a rate. They can handle all your insurance needs, your liability, your building, your bond, your livestock, everything. They can take care of all of it, and they can give you a quote. Just give them a call there, and I think you'll probably like the results. But check out their online information at specialtyriskinsuranceagency.com. That was fast. One day after the market's knee-jerk to the new tariffs, and they were down so hard and scared everybody on Tuesday, we had that good message that Trump gave us on Tuesday night, and all of a sudden on Wednesday everything was a little bit better, or a lot better. Your stock market rebounded. Your CME cattle futures had an impressive showing on Wednesday, and they really weren't down on Tuesday, not on the close. Now, they were very volatile on Tuesday and were down hard earlier in the session, but they came back and mostly closed higher on Tuesday and then showed some really impressive gains on Wednesday. But we did see that Trump did a little bit of pullback on some of the tariffs, and we expected that. He gave a 1-month exemption to U.S. auto workers because a lot of our U.S. auto workers' cars are actually made in Mexico and Canada, so that was one in particular. Didn't get any confirmation, but there is talk that he may ease off or maybe even eliminate the tariffs on ag products. We'll have to maybe get some more information here later this week on that, but that would be great if he does. I hate that for guys that rely on that trade there, and it's hurting them. But we've just got to take care of ourselves, and we've got to get some of these things straightened out, guys. Our cattle futures, let's talk about the April 2nd reciprocal tariffs. So the tariffs that got enacted on Tuesday and caused a little bit of disruption in your markets were just the Mexico and Canada tariffs of 25%, and then the additional tariff on China goods of 10%. But on April the 2nd, the day after April Fool's Day, we're going to have reciprocal tariffs on all the countries that we trade with that charge us tariffs. We're going to charge them exactly the same thing. So that seems more than fair to me. I don't understand why they should get to enjoy the money that's gained from tariffs, and we don't. And I'm sure most of them need our wonderful marketplace more than we need theirs for the most part. But your cattle markets have been lower for the most part here this week, and especially working into the middle of the week. But the main reason, and of course we've talked about the weather conditions, we've talked about the condition of the cattle, which is not nearly as attractive to the buyers as it was the previous week when it was so cold and the cattle were froze out, shrunk down, thinner and emptier. That makes a big difference, and our markets are going to be lower this week because they had recovered from those conditions, most of the cattle. But the main thing that the thing started out the week kind of on the bad sign was we had lost our February live cattle contract. Now that thing had been holding up there in the high 190s. It was over $2 for almost the entire life of the contract, and then was hanging up there high in the 190s. And then all of a sudden this week we didn't have it anymore. And what your cattle feeders were looking to hedge to was much lower than that, and the one that was sticking out in front as a spot market was trading in the low 190s. But now all of a sudden, with a couple of up days, we've got that April live cattle up over 196.5, so it's very near what your February live cattle contract was at, and I think it should ease folks just a little bit and make things feel a little bit better. On Wednesday, I had the opportunity to be around home, and I've been promising my friend Ty Chesser that heads up the ranch and feedlot operations program at Clarendon College, just over in Clarendon, Texas, that when I would come up and speak to his students. And so Wednesday I had the opportunity to do that. I'm glad I did. Probably talked their ear off. Spent about 4 hours with them there, and they were attentive. They asked good questions. They were interested in what I had to talk to them, and not just about the industry, but about you know, how you go about finding a job whenever you come out of college, or you've been getting some training there, and all of a sudden you find that you need to find a job, and the changes that you got to go through. And I told them, you're probably not going to be able to pay the bills living in your hometown. Unless somebody gives you a ranch or something like that, you're going to have to move around. You're going to have to do something. You're going to have to broaden your horizons and learn things by traveling and going different places, seeing how things are done, and getting involved with them. But enjoyed speaking to those young people there, and they've got a good bunch there at the ranch and feedlot operations class at Clarendon College. But let's talk about your board for Wednesday, and it was positive all around, even on the grains, which have been having a tough time of it here lately. April live cattle futures up $1.90 at 196.55. June up 262 at 192.70. Your back month's up 122 to up 280 on live cattle futures. March feeder cattle up 2 1/4, 276.10. April was up 357 at 276.07, and your back months were up big, up 317 to up 407. If you guys are wanting to get price protection on your cattle through an LRP, you may want to look at the new target prices there, or prices for protection there, after the board was up so much on Wednesday, and it might look pretty good to you out front. How about your May corn? Talking about May contracts now, up 4 1/4 cents a bushel at 4.55 3/4. May beans up 12 3/4 at 10.11 3/4. May hard red winter wheat up 8.5 cents a bushel at 5.57. Your fat cattle trade in your direct trade areas, negotiated cash was very quiet. The most rumblings we heard was on the Fed Cattle Exchange online auction market there, that does have competition and negotiation there, but we didn't have any sales at all confirmed in Iowa and Nebraska on Wednesday. Kansas did trade a few, but just only about 350. They've sold 2,700 for the week, 195 to 197 in Kansas. Texas's sales were mostly on the Fed Cattle Exchange. They sold commodity cattle at 197 through negotiated competition there on Fed Cattle Exchange. And they also sold beef on dairy, all black cattle there, bid the grid, FOB, the feedlot, at 198.50. And likely, if it normally does, that grid, FOB grid that they have there, will yield back many dollars premium there on those beef on dairy cattle. But we had some fat cattle auctions. Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota, had a light run due to the winter storm that was crossing across the northern plains there, and the roads were bad. So only about 460 head for the slaughter cattle auction. Conventional fed cattle bring from 197 to $2 even. Program cattle, they just had one load there, and they bring 202. So still a premium to what's going on in the direct trade areas. Glacial Lakes Livestock in Watertown, South Dakota, had a better run, 750 head, including cows and bulls and all classes there on slaughter cattle. But good run of fat cattle too. Conventionals were $3 to $4 lower, from 192 to 197, and program cattle or non-implanted fed cattle bring from 198 to 203. They had big fat fed cows selling from 150 to 160 in Watertown, South Dakota. Box beef cutout values were lower, took back what they gained on Tuesday. Choice cuts down 133 at 313.54. Selects down 149 at 302.53. Your slaughter up through the first 3 days of the week, 345,000 estimated cattle slaughter. That's 6,000 better than this point last week, 19,000 lighter than the same point a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. If you guys enjoyed the Punchy Pick of the Month contest and you were not involved, but you would like to be, doesn't cost anything, guys, for the Punchy Pick or the Kids Corral. If you get a pick on your phone or something, just out working cattle doing something, see something that appears pretty punchy, and you guys know what I mean by punchy, snap the pic of it and email that picture to punchy@nationalbeefwire.com. Just email that picture, and the guys will look through them and they'll send them to me at the last day of the month, and then we will award those. It doesn't cost you a thing. The Kids Corral winner gets a $200 gift certificate to Cavender's, donated by Great Plains Livestock Consulting. The Punchy Pick of the Month gets a big box full of swag from National Beefwire, Feeder Flash, Beaver Feed Company in Beaver, Oklahoma, Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, and then of course the best part of the Punchy Pick of the Month prize package is the whole case of Fair Piece, that revolutionary product that is scientifically proven, guys. So get involved in it if you would like to. Now let's talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance, working to protect your livelihood. Your real-time index on DVAuction based on an 800-pound cast auction steer up through your middle 12 states. Late in the day on Wednesday, after all your sales are completed, was sitting at 276.42, down 139. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index was sitting at 277.87, but running a day behind there. I want to tell you that they're going to have a pretty good run at Stockman's Livestock Exchange in Dickinson, North Dakota. They got about 3,000 head for the special feeder cattle auction here today on Thursday. It's on DVAuction.com. And then a sale later in the week, Crawford Livestock Auction in Crawford, Nebraska is also a DV auction broadcaster. They have decided, due to weather conditions, they are going to postpone this Friday's sale and have it next Friday. So rather than having it on March the 7th, they're going to have it on March the 14th. Let's talk about your big sales on Wednesday. OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, DV auction broadcaster there, and we're proud to be working with them. They had a huge run. 13,400 head of feeder cattle and calves on Tuesday and Wednesday. Calves on Tuesday and feeders on Wednesday, of course. Feeder steers were $1 to $3 lower, but those heaviest ones weighing over 900 pounds were actually steady to $3 higher. Feeder heifers $3 to $8 lower, and we've seen that kind of trend around a lot of your markets this week. It's just lower, a lot of storms brewing around, and then of course, like I said, the cattle just aren't in the condition that the buyers really like they were the week before. So that's how you see the trend down. Calves were fully steady on Tuesday. Big sale in western Oklahoma was Cherokee Sales Company in Cherokee, Oklahoma. 5,200 head of feeder cattle for their auction. That is a big run there for anybody. Good run for them. They are not reported by Federal State Market News, but their market looked $2 to $8 lower from what I could see on your automated market report on your feeders. Now calves were not that much lower, and they were higher in some places, but just not really enough for a good test. But it is your National Beefwire stick-out sale of the day at Cherokee Sales Company in Cherokee, Oklahoma. Look at your best tested weights was up in your bigger feeder cattle. 502 head of 7-weight steers in Cherokee averaged 765 pounds. Weighted average price $282.58. 1,257 head of 8 weights in Cherokee averaged 840 pounds at 266.98. 1,122 head, these are good tests, guys, of 9-weight steers in Cherokee, averaged 954 pounds with a weighted average price of 249.87. And then on the heifers, they had a couple weight groups that were well tested. 525 head of 7-weight heifers averaged 757 at 258.12, and 410 of the 8-weight heifers averaged 868. Cherokee Sales Company in Cherokee, Oklahoma, with a weighted average price of 240.07. Some individual quotes from all around that I thought were impressive on Wednesday. Twin Falls Livestock Commission in Twin Falls, Idaho sells 70 steers. Way out west, they weigh 758 and bring 286. Thought that was an impressive quote. How about Parsons, Kansas? At Parsons Livestock Auction, they sell 51 head, 535-pound steer calves at $378.50. Let's go up to the Midwest, Dakota, Iowa Sales Commission there. They sell 60 steers, weigh 755 at $296. I thought that was impressive. How about going out east, Bluegrass Stockyards East Market in Mount Sterling, Kentucky. They sell 64 steers, weighed 746 at $291.25 on the eastern side of Kentucky, guys. I thought that was pretty impressive. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Wednesday in your Macrocin, no BS, top quote of the day, come out of Hub City Livestock in Aberdeen, South Dakota, was 65 big feeding steers, weighed 863 at $286.50. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.